Ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, we are live on the Beacon Roundtable. Welcome to the Beacon Roundtable, myself and Jangle, our merry round of guests as we talk about all the great stuff in the crypto universe. Jangle, GM to you, sir. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Feeling bullish.
Super bullish. I mean, look at the charts right now. We are just in total euphoria.
Is it Euphoria? I don't
Think
know.
about where we were in March.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is
mean,
I saw like on the CME funding rates for longing Bitcoin. One, the volume on the CME for BTC is at all-time highs, like by a lot. And two, the funding rates are like 20% APR. Like you're paying 20% annually to long BTC on the CME. And like, who's doing that? Like, not me, not you, probably watching this, unless you're, JP Morgan or something. Like, I don't know. There's institutions who want exposure to BTC, but they don't want custody risk. Like, I think on Deribit, you're paying like something like 10% annually to long BTC, which is like a more crypto native centralized exchange. So like, yeah, I think I don't know about you, but nobody really in my life has been asking me about the crypto markets either. Like no normies have been texting me like, "Hey, is now a good time to buy?" So like it does seem like I feel hype and euphoria, and I have like personally sort of this last week or two started to pause my regular buying of the majors just to like hold on to some cash flow, get ready for maybe starter positions in some alts. But like, man, overall, I don't think that what comes up must come down necessarily. At least in financial markets, maybe in physics, but not in financial markets.
but I can see why anybody who is watching this is very, very cautious about what's going on. I mean, when we've slowly watched ourselves get to this point, and it's kind of crazy that we're in this spot, and then suddenly, and that's kind of the scary part. No one's really talking about this. What's going to happen when they really start to? I mean, do you really think that people are saying 100k ETH? Actually, no, it's Bitcoin by the end of next year. But
Hey, either one.
either one. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Ultimately, we have 3 weeks left out in this year now, which is even still kind of crazy to think about after this week. But ultimately, what do you think has been the secret to all of this accumulation? We'll look at a couple links here. Bitcoin, well, at least for Master, they're at 23.7 now, right? In profit.
MicroStrategy, yeah. So I threw this tweet in here. I'm not sure if this is a credible source, but I have heard this ballpark number of 25 billion in profit for MicroStrategy a couple times, and I had seen some good data on their buys, really like their DCA strategy. So when you talk about like what's been the secret to 2023. I think it's been steady accumulation of the majors, right? Like BTC dominance is up. A lot of people dunking on the ETH BTC chart, but like, it, to be honest, like I have pretty strong conviction that, we're not going to see anything below a 0.04. Like I think anything around 0.05 is a really strong place to acquire some ETH. But outside of that, even the ETH dominance against alts is very strong over the year. The BTC dominance and obviously everything around the BTC ecosystem over the last month has been absolutely ripping. So, this hasn't been the time to be, doubling down on your random altcoin losers. 2023 has been the time to just be accumulating the majors. I know that's like the boring answer that everybody says all the time, right? It's like during the accumulation year of the cycle, after the euphoria, after the capitulation, the year of accumulation, like buy the majors, don't necessarily buy last cycle's alts. Like that's just the industry sort of expectation. super boring to see that come through. But there have been other things, especially over the last month or two, that have been notable exceptions to that majors over alts rule. You're muted, Chris.
Thanks for that. And ultimately, we're now at the end of the year. I think one thing we need to kind of think of, I just wanted to take the open to kind of step back and just talk about, because I think we'll talk about it a little bit more in the next couple of weeks, but think about where we were at the beginning of the year compared to where we are now. And it's funny because you had a lot of people, moaning and groaning, and then suddenly they probably all left. And now we're seeing this upturn and they're still not back. But ultimately, I think that there's been a lot of interesting narratives in the last 9 months that have really just kind of set up for this really interesting, what's going to be, in my opinion, a huge explosion, specifically when we get into next month. Jangle, what do you think are some of the things that have really been part of the big narrative turns of this year?
Oh, man. So what was it? March of this year, March of 2023 was the Arbitrum airdrop.
Yeah.
When that happened, I was kind of flabbergasted that they took that part of the market cycle to actually do an airdrop. I mean, like, I guess the thought process was, okay, let's capture market dominance of the crypto natives that are still here. But I think from that point onward, there was just airdrop narrative that's been brewing that other L2s have been trying to take advantage of, even though a lot of them haven't dropped their token yet, right? And that has started in recent weeks, and the last month, we've seen several major airdrops. I always say, think of it like IPOs, right? People don't want to launch an IPO. They don't want to go public in a bear market. They want to go public in a bull market, get a high valuation, raise a lot of capital, whatever. So I think it's sort of a similar thing. Like, there, with some notable exceptions, right? Projects want to wait for better market conditions to launch tokens. And so I think that we're starting to see some of that now. And really, we're just getting started. I mean, we've had Celestia, which is the top monthly performer. Last time I checked, which was a little while ago, was over a 3x against its airdrop price, and it's up 14% on the 24 hours. So big airdrop there. There's been some Solana airdrops. What is it? Jupiter, and what was the other one?
Jupiter and Jito.
The Jito, the Sting one, and Pith, and I think more are coming. More are coming as market conditions improve. I'm optimistic on airdrops, and be careful. Practice good security practices and wallet separation and all that sort of stuff. But go out and use some of these projects, especially sometimes with the Oracle provider Pith. I think if you're using Quinta or some of the projects that are utilizing that Oracle, you were qualified for some of the airdrops. So super cool, and really surprised that narrative is already starting to pay dividends, and we're not even in 2024 yet. I was really expecting a lot of these airdrops to hold off until a later date, but the bullish price action we've seen has just kind of jump started the whole process, I think.
I will take you to task, Jangle, because there is video proof of you trying to talk Arbitrum at their booth at ETH Denver out of doing the airdrop because it didn't make a whole lot of sense. Because we saw what happened with OP and their airdrop with Optimism, and they've found their way back, obviously, after doing it in a really interesting time frame. But maybe it's kind of funny how the market kind of wakes up sometimes to things like this, because as a mastermind, we banked a lot of money off of that, more than we ever dreamed, to be quite honest. And it actually brought about a whole new revolution in terms of how protocols look at airdrops, specifically with Sybil type stuff, and how they evaluate criteria, using it as a part of marketing. That's a lot of things there. But I think the interesting part, and we talked about this offline, was the best airdrops in our opinion probably are still to come. And we're talking about like ZK Sync Era hasn't come out yet. Linea's or consensuses with MetaMask, if that's still coming. Layer Zero, there's at least 2 or 3 more Starknet that are still coming out within the next 1 to 6 months that are still going to be huge, in our personal opinion. So yeah, it's a great time to be an airdrop farmer, whether you have $1 or $1,000,000. Everyone this year, everyone's been eating pretty good on airdrops for sure. So if you made some decent money on airdrops through us this year, please put a one in the chat. Just wanted to get some love for that. Airdrops have been great this year.
It's been a surprising letdown though. Somewhat surprising. I think overall gaming has really not gotten a lot of traction this year, in terms of specifically crypto gaming. But we're kind of seeing that turn around because like in recent weeks throughout this pump, we've had some really good performers like Alluvium and IMX and some of the gaming projects and also gaming infrastructure. But to be honest, at the beginning of 2023, I expected there to be more engagement, more like incremental evolution past the play to earn model. There's been some of that. We're seeing that come out now. But I think most of the year, it's been a little slow to happen. But I think we're gonna get to it. And honestly, I'm kind of likely, like, I'm not super involved in the gaming sector, even though I've played a lot of games, and like almost everybody that is super crypto native, I think has played like RuneScape or World of Warcraft or StarCraft or Diablo or like these sorts of games before. 3 of those being Blizzard games, I'm now realizing, which is funny. Like Blizzard just like owning the microtransaction space, or at least my mind share of gaming. Maybe Counter-Strike, yada yada. But that's not necessarily the same market as what crypto gaming is like starting to target. And it's honestly not the biggest market at all. Like the TAM of like mobile gaming and like sort of like degen gambling and like spending loads of money on like things like Candy Crush, I know is really big. And like not Candy Crush specifically, but those types of mobile microtransaction driven games are really popular in Southeast Asia, which I was not aware of kind of until recently, how much money the like average user of those games in Southeast Asia really spends. Like it's like honestly more degenerate than anything I've ever seen in crypto. But
Mind
yeah,
blowing.
so yeah. Yeah, it's like I'm realizing like the US based PC gamer is not the target audience of a lot of these Web3 crypto native games. And so yeah, I'm like realizing that what I maybe thought was specialized knowledge is really just like mid curving in the gaming sector. So yeah.
I will say, we have quite a few friends in the network who are pretty plugged into gaming. Definitely watch out again for Immutable X, which is a layer 1 blockchain. They're actually building a layer 2 based on Polygon CDK. That's not on the agenda today, but there is movement, and Avalanche could be a player here, as well as Arbitrum, because Treasure DAO is looking to possibly build their own chain with Magic as the gas token there in the Arbitrum orbit. So keep an eye out for some of these things. We'll report them as we start to see more, but gaming could be heating up. And I don't think it's a secret that there's a lot of targeted types of things. I think mobile gaming, like you mentioned, gambling, huge narratives with regards to gaming. And I do think that there's some things that work hand in hand with the crypto model and some that don't. And I do hope that if you join us in ETH Denver, they're going to have another huge activation there with video games. Like if you went in February, it was just gigantic. Like a whole area, part of the arena was just with these games, and they looked great. They played great. The only difference is that you paid for them in crypto, in terms of microtransactions, in terms of how you interacted with everybody on a DeFi level. Was really cool. And I do hope that that 2024 marks the beginning of more people getting into that space. But they're gonna have their work cut out for them in terms of getting more, as you mentioned with TAM, total addressable market, getting those, uh, getting the public to really care. But there's a couple of projects out there that I think that are built on. I think that I know there's one specific being built on top of Roblox that could be something that brings people in. All it takes is that one thing to get people uh, in there. I'm not looking at Pepe, but we did have a huge meme coin year.
Oh
That
man, how could
that
we have forgotten that, dude?
I know that's not. I was just thinking we forgot about Pepe and some of these
And Bonk
Bonk, H Pop, 8 Inu, and
and Harry,
H
yeah, Harry
Pause,
Potter, yeah, Harry Potter, Obama Sonic 10 Inu.
10 Inu.
How can we forget about Ticker Bitcoin?
Yeah, or
And
the
then
other one's Ticker XRP, which was fantastic. That was the best thing I'd seen all year. H Pop 8 Inu's ticker is XRP.
and last but not least, bald.
Bald. Yeah, man.
Yeah. I participated in none of those. Gaming and meme coins, probably not my sector. I will say, like, I do have a bag of LP Jewel and Crystal from DeFi Kingdoms from last
DFK.
cycle. Rip. It's like, now, granted, at the top it was $20 or something. I think it top ticked $20 and it's 35 cents. So bouncing off the bottom, it takes a lot of 10x's to get back to where it was. But yeah, I mean, like, it's honestly a very marginal amount that I just haven't even bothered to touch. That's up like 200% on the week. So yeah, I mean, gaming's coming back. At least in this pump, it's like one of the few things that's outperforming the Bitcoin ecosystem. I think it has potential, but it's just so much noise. What are going to be the big winners? Like, okay, maybe some of the infrastructure stuff might be a decent bet, like Immutable, but it's just not something that I have high conviction on. So for me, like, I'd rather stick to other things that I understand the sectors really well. I can really get a better grasp around the valuations, and I have a high degree of confidence that that sector is like really going to grow. And so that way, if there is like a 30-50% correction in some of the altcoins after I've established like some positions, then I'm not going to like panic sell. Like, that's the way I think about it. And like, for me, primarily that sector is derivative dexes, which I think volumes have been down overall in the crypto market, but the relative share of market share that dexes and derivative dexes command has been growing, especially in light of FTX, Binance legal issues, etc. So like, that's my like sector of choice personally.
Yeah, I agree. I think personally for me, I think data is going to be the big one. Celestia obviously a part of that, but I'm not going to be fading EigenLayer or EigenDA. I think that's going to be huge. And I guess we'll see where we go from there and how restaking kind of gets reshaped once more of these projects start doing restaking based of liquid stake token. It's going to be an interesting experiment. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for what 2024 is bringing. We can quote Frank on AVAX really not giving zeros in terms of
Let's go.
what is going on with AVAX.
So you mentioned
It's 27
for gaming. So earlier this year, didn't they create a grant fund for?
Yes.
Yeah, and that was $290 million in May. What was Avalanche in AVAX? What was Avalanche in May?
I think it was $10.
Yeah, so now it's, dude, almost like a $500 million, $750 million gaming fund. That's like, what? So
where was this during the plague game?
yeah, I mean, come on.
Oh man,
dude.
And the last thing we'll wrap up on.
20. It was probably March.
Yeah, you're right. It was closer to 20.
It was probably closer to 15 actually, but still, like we're a 2x probably from that price when it was at a near $300 million fund for gaming. on AVAX. So yeah, we're looking at a 5, 6, 700 million dollars that are in AVAX dedicated towards grants for attracting gaming, and maybe some DeFi stuff and some NFT stuff to subnet. So
Yeah.
cool.
I will say the other big part of the narrative, and as we've mentioned multiple times, stablecoin's the big killer app in crypto, right? And in my opinion, it will still be the biggest killer app in crypto. Circle bringing CCTP with a cross-chain transfer protocol, which they've been testing quite a bit, and opening it up now with native USDC everywhere, across all chains in EVM. I mean, we're even looking at places like Hedera, and then them coming to Noble, which is an issuing app chain in Cosmos, to bring native USDC to the entire Cosmos IBC through Noble. Huge. We're seeing native USDC on multiple chains. Algorand, there's at least 17 that it's on now. So the ability to have USDC one-to-one quickly bridged native USDC in multiple places is good for the retail investor. And yeah, this is a huge narrative, I think, just getting this out there, and at least in the last 4 months after Coinbase brought Circle in house. Yeah.
Yeah, or at least like established in an equity position, and I think renegotiated their revenue share. But yeah, it's we have it later on the agenda. Maybe we can touch on it a bit now. But yeah, Circle bringing the payment links to their Coinbase wallet, sort of USDC ecosystem. So that's exciting. Really having native USDC on these different chains and environments allows me as like a user, an on-chain user who's like actively trying to farm different places, different L2s, kind of experimenting on DYDX now, with their migration of their app chain. Like, I want native USDC. I don't want all this bridge risk, right? It massively increases my perceived risk. And I think the real risk of being in these different execution environments, to not have native USDC. So the fact that now with the Noble integration, you have like in the whole Cosmos ecosystem, native USDC, you've got it on, some L2s, you've got it on, AVAX now. It's
Solana.
bringing the sort of Solana. Yeah, it's bringing the trusted brand of USDC. And I think the DPEG in March, which we haven't talked about as a big event for this year,
Ooh, yeah.
did a lot of damage to that brand, unfortunately, even though it was technically the banking system's fault, right? And the Fed's fault. But I think over time it'll rebound from that. And yeah, having the ability to have native USDC everywhere, as a farmer, cross-chain farmer, it's like huge relief.
Yeah, I can get USDC from Arbitrum to Solana in less than 15 minutes. That never would have happened with Wormhole. And then you would have had to gone to Radium or Jupiter to swap that for some weird Wormhole wrap token to regular USDC, which was not even native either. So yeah, just the fact that this is all one standard that's everywhere just makes it so much easier for farmers, makes it easier for normies as we start to abstract away from this, so that USDC is just USDC, and other coins soon will be just regular coins. You don't have to worry about all this extended bridge risk and stuff like that. So yeah, that was the longest open we've ever done. But
yeah, that's a lot of topics in there, but yeah, we can keep going. We can keep going.
Well, we'll talk about it more in the next couple of weeks. We're almost to the end of 2023. I did want to bring up something as a PSA, and this is something we brought up yesterday in the mastermind. There is a NFT vulnerability through a infrastructure creator called ThirdWeb. Now, if you don't do NFTs, this has nothing to do with anything that you do, so you just don't have to worry about this. But if you do use NFTs, if you've ever minted an NFT using an independent site, there is a chance that it was actually hosted on ThirdWeb. They have it's been identified since the middle of November about a vulnerability, an exploit has not been exploited, much like the Curve one for like that was on Arbitrum. But in any case, they're asking everyone to mitigate their smart contracts that use ThirdWeb to a newer one. So ultimately, for many of you, probably not something you have to worry about. If you used JPEGs, if you used OpenSea or Blur or SudoSwap to mint projects, then this does not affect you either. But with that said, you definitely want to do a couple of different things I would recommend. And I have a Loom on this. I'll put it in the show notes so you guys can walk through that. But essentially what you need to do is go through your NFT projects, go to the communities, ask them if they're potentially affected. They should know whether they are or not. In the event that they don't know, I would say if you are staking in any NFTs, because you can stake certain projects and receive yield, unstake them immediately until this is all kind of come to pass, and then revoke all NFT token approvals at a tool like revoke.cash, or if you have Rabby, you can do it inside there as well. But revoke.cash makes it super easy. If you're on EVM chain, you can just select all NFT tokens, revoke anything that has an unlimited approval, and you should be good to go. So just a PSA, just be very careful out there. Again, Open Zeppelin does acknowledge, which is based on the smart contract that they have. I don't know if they specifically know the exact issue of the library that has been out there. They're not really talking about it, which is kind of weird for ThirdWeb because they are a well-known, at least for developers, they're well-known in that case. So, but yeah, just be careful out there. And I would definitely recommend if you have NFTs, take the following steps, just revoke all the approvals. You should be good to go. All right, back to the Euphoria. So again, we're looking at, and this is the one I wanted to pull up, which is the total 3 chart. Jangle, if you don't mind explaining for everyone what the total 3 chart entails.
Well, total 3 is the market cap of crypto as a whole, excluding Bitcoin and also ETH. So this is basically the total altcoin market cap, if you consider Bitcoin and ETH the not altcoins. Yeah.
Yes. And it's looking very interesting right now. So yeah, we definitely want to see this rise, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still like, can you zoom out so we can maybe also see kind of the last bear market? So like, like the last sort of top capitulation accumulation phase. Man, look at that. There was like a little bear market rally in the middle of 2019. It looks like so that's a little spooky.
Look at
that.
It must be when Aave launched.
I'm fairly light on altcoins, to be honest. I'm fairly light on altcoins, but I am looking with some like major altcoins that I think have a lot of staying power. The next couple months, starting to establish starter positions just to get geared up. I'm still pretty confident. Historically, Bitcoin dominance is the name of the game until well after the halving, honestly. Until several months after the halving. So like, I don't feel a rush to like rearrange and establish these altcoin positions for the alt season. But I also don't ever want to feel like I'm in a rush. So I like to position sort of well before. I have multi-year time horizons on almost all of my positions that I enter, at least like a 3-month plus time horizon. I seldom sort of play with anything less than that. So for me, not FOMOing into it, but okay, I'm going to pause on my major, accumulation, have a little cash flow on the side, be ready to deploy in the select alts on my watch list, some starter positions, maybe in the coming weeks or by the end of January. That's sort of my thought process for positioning. And then when we're going into the halving, I'll be well positioned for BTC breaking all-time highs, normies FOMOing into altcoins, very shillable alts are what I'm looking for. And honestly, DeFi classics, things that have survived. And I think there's also an opportunity in projects that launched during the bear market that have really low market caps and have really strong teams and have been delivering through the bear. There's also opportunities there for sure.
I agree, and that's probably the biggest note to think about is just how much building has been done, because DeFi and on-chain finance today looks very different than how it looked 9 months to a year ago. So just really excited with the different types of products and protocols that are out there. Obviously, the move to concentrated liquidity was a huge influencer in the way that a lot of different projects now look at, liquidity provision and capital efficiency. My crosshairs here are an interesting spot because if I'm not mistaken, this is the Luna crash, and we are above that area. So we have retraced the entire way back and above that rate. So yeah, I think there's a lot of positive movement, and I do hope that we continue to build from here. As we get closer to the halving, as we get closer to these BTC, these BTC spot ETF applications, which is looking like between the first, second week of January is when we're going to have a decision on all of them that are coming around. What was I going to get to? Other catalyst. Robinhood reports 75% uptick in trading in November. That's actually very large, to the point where Cathie Wood has sold more Coinbase stocks to buy Robinhood.
That's bullish.
I don't even know what to think about that.
I think so. I mean, she has a good bit of Coinbase exposure still. I think that this is maybe some like rebalancing or something. I don't know. Also, like she sold Nvidia like moments before the rally at the beginning of the year. So like, she can do whatever. Her rebalancing the ARK portfolio, like that's like doesn't even factor into my thesis at all.
Mine either. But one that I found interesting, Tether, who someone mentioned in the comments about USDT. Yes, still not transparent, but they own more T-bills and BTC than most sovereign nations. So this is interesting.
They have for a while.
This is interesting. And they have for a while by a large margin. So the fact that their profit is just as good, if not better, than the country of El Salvador is very interesting. I find that to be interesting and just a very bullish indicator overall. What's Tether going to do with all his money? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. Something's just like, I'm not a Tether truther, but like, dude, like the amount of resiliency that Tether has shown throughout the bear market while USDC has been, declining. Like, okay, maybe it's because US residents are probably more likely to go to USDC versus Tether, and they've also had access to T-bills, so their capital has gone off chain, while Tether's predominantly like the offshore stable coin. Like maybe that's the reason. That's kind of what I've been telling myself. This Justin Sun stuff, all the Tether on Tron, like things going on with Binance is like, like I don't know. I just don't know. So, but I'm not going to say Tether's going to collapse tomorrow because people have been saying that forever. But yeah, it's sort of like the life cycle of a Thanksgiving turkey, maybe. But also, unless they're committing massive fraud or they've blown just tons of money, they're printing. They're unbelievably profitable. So it's like, even if they're only 80% collateralized, they'll be fully collateralized soon enough with all the money they're making off, the market going up, because it was several months ago or a couple quarters ago that they were allocating all of their T-bill yields to Bitcoin, I think is what they were saying, and Bitcoin miners as well, which has been obviously Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners have been ripping. So I find it like just thinking probabilistically, like it's probably unlikely that USDT is actually insolvent, like with these sort of market conditions and the behaviors they've been talking about and just what I can see. But if I have no way of knowing and all this weird stuff is happening on chain, like, what do you even think about this? Yeah, I don't know. I prefer USDC because neither are giving me native yields. So I might as well use like DAI or SDAI or USDC than Tether. But good for Tether. Hey, if people want to hold Tether, that's cool. Do whatever you want.
Tether to $5, bro. Tether to $5. Remember that meme? Tether to $5.
Yeah,
$5 tether still on the table.
that was like, I think the Pico bottom, the USDC bull and the USDT bull accounts were like constantly bull posting.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, we're talking a lot about bullish activity with BTC. One place that I would just want to visit, Switzerland, but apparently multiple cantons, or I believe that's the word for municipalities and like counties, like parishes in Louisiana, but cantons in Switzerland, they've been pushing for Bitcoin adoption for multiple things. They call it their Plan B, I think is what it's called. Wink, wink to the B in the Bitcoin. But the city of Lugano, and there's multiple different areas that now accept not only just BTC, but Tether as payment for taxes and other community fees. I mean, that's pretty boss. I mean, it's like you could sit there and just talk about, hey, that 18-year-old kid never leaves his house. I'm like, nobody pays his taxes.
Okay, I don't understand how the United States can be anti-stablecoin if literally stablecoins are a mechanism for other citizens to be able to pay their own sovereign nation's taxes in US dollars. Like, deleting a tax liability is like the number one reason, or maybe, at least top 5 reason to hold dollars, right? Like, I hold dollars because I need to buy food and shelter, stuff that I like, and I need to pay taxes. Like, what other reason is there to have dollars? Like, besides that, they're just like, and I mean, to service debt obligations denominated in dollars. But like, yeah, no, like if other sovereign nations are, I haven't heard this, but yeah, I'm bullish stablecoin adoption. Weird that it's Tether, but I guess that's fine.
Yeah, weird that it's Tether, but we've talked about this a couple different. So Fiat 24, we talked about this like about 6 months ago. There's a couple of different. There's one doing an arbitrary airdrop as well, where you could and they're all based in Switzerland, where you get an actual Swiss bank account to back your crypto, and you can use that I guess they use that for settlement and probably USDC, USDT, or URC or whatever they're using over there. But yeah, I mean, it's the more I see this, the more I get excited about Balaji's nation state type of model. And I do think that these are good things. This is the way of the world, the free market economy, in my opinion, that I think is kind of foundational to that.
So question, isn't your hardware wallet just kind of like a Swiss bank account?
Yeah, I guess it could be. I guess so. We'll talk about some alternatives to that in a little bit. But also we talked about this, basically, but President Bukele in El Salvador, thanks to this pre-Luna pump, finally, the portfolio of El Salvador is profitable.
Back in the green, baby.
Más profitable. Sí, señor.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Bukele. I loved his tweet about this. He was like, everybody who said it was a bad idea, like, I order you to retract your statements. Or no, he didn't say order. He's like, the right thing to do would be retract your previous statements. Here, I'll link it in our chat here, Chris. We are if we were to sell our Bitcoin, we would not only cover 100% of our investment, but also make a profit of what is this, $3 million?
Yeah, $3 million.
But this was it's a couple days ago, so I think it's even more than that now. But yeah, it's important that the naysayers and authors of those hit pieces take back their statements. That's funny, dude. That's great. Congratulations. Being in profit, nothing is better than a first cycler who bought the top of the last cycle, held through the bear, and is now in profit at the beginning of the next bull cycle. That is truly an experience that I hope that everybody on Earth gets to experience at some point or the other. And congratulations, Bukele, for making it. You will truly make it.
Could you imagine if Bitcoin really does go to 100K at the end of next year, and they become like one of the richest countries per capita or with the GDP in the in the world, based on something, they become their own version of like, why can't I think of that country right now? The one that has this, Brunei, or just some of these other like small nations that have like ridiculous amounts of GDP based on like investments and stuff like that. There's, and we've talked about this, that like Nepal, some of these other smaller countries that are investing huge into crypto mining and stuff like that, especially in Nepal, where they can use it at higher altitudes and have less issues of energy dissipation. And that's interesting to see. But it's interesting to see this interesting marriage between sovereignty and digital assets. I hope we continue to see this moving forward. It's a bit of an interesting watch if you decide to go through and go down the rabbit hole of that. As I move to my terrible next segue of Wormhole raising 2.5 billion in a valuation as a new unit emerges. Yeah, this is big for them. Obviously, they had made huge, really outside of the fact that I'd never liked their bridge. They were hacked for $325 million, which they got bailed out of by Jump Capital, and Jump Capital.
I remember that.
Yeah, Jump Capital.
I lost money in that. I lost a bunch of soul in that, but then I got it back from, or I guess, it was unbacked and then it was backed. It wasn't like I lost it and regained it. Yeah.
Correct.
But, yep.
And so this is so they got more money, and they've created Wormhole Labs to create some new products. The only reason why I think this is interesting is there's a lot of rumors here about this being an airdrop that they're going to do to try and raise more awareness and funds, more liquidity for the bridge. So put CCTV in the bridge.
It's a like pretty decent valuation. So yeah, cool.
Yeah. So if I'm not mistaken, the rumor is that the token's going to be called Whole. I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, that's a weird name.
Yeah, it's a weird name, but they can't do Worm. Worm's already taken. Well, it's not taken, but it's been used and has a decent name to it. But yeah, I mean, Wormhole is one of those. It's one of those bridges that has been around forever. Portal Bridge is what it should be called now. I hope they change the name because it's I don't know, just don't care for it. But good
maybe
for them.
Porthole, maybe
Porthole, that could be good. Take portholes all over the cryptoverse,
and then the ticker could be Port.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, hire me for your marketing team. Porthole.
Yeah, Jangle says you get that one for free just today.
$3,000 an hour.
There you go.
That.
Well, I guess the real question is, how are they going to pay you? But one way they could pay you, God, these segues are terrible today. I'm so sorry. Coinbase wallet. Coinbase has released the Coinbase wallet functionality of being able to receive money with a link. Text message, you can do it with Telegram, iMessage, apparently, WhatsApp, and anywhere
you can receive links, huh?
Anywhere you can receive links. So that
awesome.
Could be, good for them. The only caveat is that each person has to have a Coinbase wallet. So as long as both the sender and receiver have a Coinbase wallet, you can send USDC, and I'm sure a couple other. It's mainly USDC is what they're pushing. Fee free, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is free.
Fee free, and you can send it from ARB, AVAX, Base, Opti, and Polygon. as well as ETH mainnet, of course. So,
Hmm.
that changes
Awesome.
the way I'm going to send my mom some money for her to go to the casino.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why go to the casino where you don't have an edge when you could go to the on-chain casino when there's going to be all these normies to dump on in the coming months and years? like gambling, like actual casinos minus EV.
Minus EV. BRX liquidity plus EV. That's the new stand with crypto message, right?
Yeah, really cool. I think there's like a UX hurdle to get off or to get over with crypto native people where like I don't have a lot of funds. I have the Coinbase wallet. I don't have a lot of funds, like I don't know, maybe like $50 in a hot wallet or something on just to collect POAPs and do stuff at conferences. Mostly I like using Coinbase wallet. But there's Apple Cash, or Apple, what is it? The cash you can send back and forth through text with Apple is like a competitor. But
it's not very good.
It's not very good. I actually, the only time I've ever used it is I got a random $20 from a number I didn't recognize. And they were like, I accidentally sent you money. Like, can you send it back? I was like, this is totally a scam. But then I still have the $20 in my Apple wallet like a week later. And so I don't know. Maybe I should send it back. I don't know. But
there's a limit to what you can send. That's the only reason why I didn't care for it. I mean, I think it's like a $500 limit you can send at any one time because we needed it for something and we had way more than $500. But Meta's actually works pretty well. And it's worked for a very long time. What they use, and it did, but it works off ACH clearinghouse. So this is much cleaner because it works directly off of crypto. A nice little way to off. Oh, I didn't even want to mention that because that could be a terrible way to do. Anyway, do this for legal things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. It could be a tax headache because if you're doing a lot of payments on your DGen wallets as well. But yeah, I mean, hey, eventually at some point, Coinbase is going to be a top 20, a top 10 app on the App Store. The normies are going to be back. They're going to be on Coinbase. They're going to be going on chain to to be doing degen things that aren't available in the Coinbase app. And then they're going to, or in the Coinbase regular centralized service, maybe they'll use the Coinbase app for that. And then, you'll be able to process payments with USDC instantly in your degen wallet. So that's, you can go straight from payments to degenning, to straight from payments to leverage perps on DYDX in a matter of minutes, right? Instead of going through Venmo, having to withdraw to your bank account, having to ACH to Coinbase, having to wait for the 7 days for that to be able to be withdrawable. Like, I mean, honestly, if you want to go from Venmo to trading perps on chain, it's 3 to 5 days to withdraw from Venmo.
Correct.
It's then 3 days to send to Coinbase. And then it's like another 3, 4, 5 days to be able to then withdraw from Coinbase, right? Once you've deposited. So like there's like a 10+ day waiting period to go from sending somebody money to being able to use that money on chain to 100x long Pepe, right? So I think this is like a way to get native payments. But hey, if they're two really crypto native people, they probably just send to a regular address. But hey, I don't know what the UX is going to look like for the average normie crypto user in a year. And this might solve that problem. Either way, increases the proliferation of USDC, which is good for my coin bags and probably good for the overall ecosystem.
You should probably just start, shilling this along with all of your friend tech keys to your friends and family, along with that GMX referral code.
Yeah,
you could
all of them.
Build a pyramid.
Maybe I get like a package deal. Maybe that's what I'll give everybody for Christmas. Just gift cards that maybe don't have any money in them, but they just include
a download to the Coinbase wallet,
so that you can buy my friend tech keys, so that you can use my GMX referral code. Exactly, perfect. I mean, I was really struggling with gift ideas. Thanks, Chris. That was very helpful for me.
You're welcome. You get that one for free. Everybody gets that one for free. Yeah, it's gonna be great. I love it. Table talk is gonna be lit this year at the table. Same thing. Yeah, you're right, Steve. Like, it's just kind of sit down. You're like, how's everybody doing? Have you heard about Coinbase Wallet? That's the open for every dinner for the next 6 months.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean it makes it because they're I guess it's being also added with regular fiat on ramps. Probably, I don't think PayPal will be in there, but it could. If PayPal does that, that would be great. Venmo, if they could do that, that would be great as well. Um, hmm.
I heard PayPal was like incentivizing a curve pool. I saw that on Twitter. I didn't really
Yes.
follow it. Yeah, that's with their PayPal USD. Maybe that's where some of the, because it was a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we were looking at the market cap of PYUSD. It's like
Yeah. Why was it
it
44
was
million?
over. Yeah, it was like over. I thought it was over like 50 million or something. It's like,
But why
wow.
was it all in the curve? Why was it all in the curve pool? That was the question we were trying to talk about because we didn't know anybody that had it or used it.
Yeah.
So, and look at Coinbase's little global domination scheme here. I mean, it's 130 plus countries too. So,
Yeah.
ultimately, this is, I mean, get the wheels running.
Here's a
ladies and
question.
gentlemen.
How long until Coinbase custody is the largest holder of BTC after these BTC ETFs and stuff? When does
Oh
Coinbase
man.
custody flip Saylor?
Yeah, well, they're the custody partner of all
Yeah.
at least 10 of the 11 BTC
Yeah.
applications. So, man, how smart are they? Gosh.
I know.
Yeah. Big brain move. Big brain move.
Yep. It's officially, in my eyes, Coinbase is the third blue chip of the crypto space. ETH, BTC, and Coin. That's it. That's the trifecta. That's
That's
the
the
low
trifecta.
maintenance trifecta.
That's the tweet. I'll run through the last couple ones real quick since we're almost at time. Thanks everybody for again, Jangle, tell them what to do.
Like, subscribe. We got 10 plus people in here and 5 likes. We can fix that. So appreciate everybody for being here. We're near the top of the hour, but yeah, Chris, take us home.
Yeah, so I just wanted to flex some French because I took 7 years of French, should have majored in it in college. But Société Générale, one of the major leading banks in France, has released a stablecoin called Euro Convertible, EURCV. Has more liquidity than EURC from Circle. And they've actually used it through their subsidiary Forge to get on the ETH mainnet. Cool. People use it. But they also have a green bond that they've released. 10 million, 3-year maturity. Multiple groups in the institutional world have been purchasing it this week. So yeah, interesting idea here. They've actually been a very active entity in the crypto space. So this all happened in the last couple of days. So again, really the reason to even just talk about this is if you're not in the US, there are Euro stables that are available that, hopefully should have a good one-to-one redemption if you're looking to diversify your stablecoin portfolio because you may not want everything in USDC or USDT. So just something to put out there for any of our non-US fans. Do you have any thoughts, James?
Man, I don't know. It seems like with stablecoins, similar to liquid stake tokens, like it's a winner take most thing in my eyes. I don't see a world where there's 25, 30 different stable coins and they're all like neck and neck competitors. I see a world where there is, maybe there's less than 5 and the ones that are able to get ahead of USDC and Tether are the ones that distribute yield natively to the token, things like SDI or SFRAX. And then like same with, Lido staked ETH, like is the dominant player. I think that liquidity kind of begets liquidity, and these long tail stable coins and long tail liquid stake tokens, they need a really key differentiator. They need something that the market wants, which is typically yield, in order to capture market share over the incumbents. So don't know. Happy to see the TradFi's FOMOing in or whatever, but yeah, I think that's truly the theme of the last month, especially considering the CME data and the amount of open interest around Bitcoin futures. So cool to see that institutions are not only paying lots of paying 20% plus annually to long Bitcoin on the CME. They're also trying to kickstart their internal initiatives to get a foot in the door in the industry. Is kind of what it seems like is happening over the last couple months.
Yeah, MiCA goes into effect at the beginning of the year, which is the European crypto regulation framework. So, yeah, this is good news for Europe at least, because they at least they have some clarity on what's going to be happening in their region moving forward. One thing I wanted to talk about real quick is how much I love the game wallet. I want one super bad because it's a hardware wallet that works with any old Game Boy. And how cool is
We
that?
we met the guy who
We
made this.
did
Yeah,
in
in
Denver.
Denver. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We did a little boot camp with him. A Cup of Joseph on Twitter. We did a Solidity boot camp with him over a day or two. Something like that.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they've actually done quite a few more things to help capitalize this product. They have a new open dollar product, so um, good for them. I hope they continue to work. And again, as long as you're using a hardware wallet, it doesn't have to be a Ledger or a Trezor. As long as it's built to good standards, has that standard out there, that's all that really matters. Because not using one is way worse than actually using one from a security standpoint. At least have one. Because you do want that wallet separation. But in the event that you don't really trust Open Dollar or anybody's Game Boy, or even Trezor or Ledger, because you're seeing them and you're like, I don't really know a whole lot about these brands and how much weight could I really put behind them? How would you feel if you had technology based on IBM? IBM
I
is
saw
kind of
this.
coming,
Crazy.
yeah, they're coming into the market. Uh, uh, Actually, Ripple's custody holder, Medico, has been using it for quite some time. And yeah, this is going to be interesting to see Big Blue come in, provide their global infrastructure, which they have plenty of, to use towards cryptography and all of the complicated computing that would be needed to help secure a layer for offsite key management for stuff like this is kind of bullish. It's in the show notes, but there's an actual 7.5 minute video. They even did the base thing. They used Alice and Bob as the as the example as to what happens when you use the IBM cold storage front end to
That's great.
send. Yeah, you send Bitcoin to from Alice to Bob using this, and all of this is I don't know, and again, I haven't watched the video fully, but so I don't know the specifics on hardware wallets in terms of, well, this is more cold storage, not hardware wallet, but um, I do think that it's going to be helpful to have something like this for normies, for civilians, rather than people having to carry around these things on their person and securing them and writing things down. If you can trust a major entity like an IBM to handle this for you, specifically at an institutional level, which I think is where they're probably going to shine, because that's where IBM shines anyway. Retail users are not their targets, but the fact that they have this out here could make this something that they eventually put out, and I think is pretty cool. What do you think, Jinx?
Yeah, I mean, personally, what I'm most excited about is the Fed backdoor in all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. What's cool about the Game Boy thing is that Game Boy was created, and like most of you probably have Game Boys at home, I assume, because you're all Chads, right? So you go to your attic, you get your Game Boy, and Game Boy was manufactured before Bitcoin was invented. So like the probability that the supply chain of Game Boy in 2007 or 2005 or whenever you got your Game Boy was compromised, and there's now some sort of like hardware backdoor for your device, that's pretty much impossible. So yeah, the supply chain of the Game Boys was not tampered with to steal your crypto, that's for sure. So that's what's really cool about using an old Game Boy you have in your attic as a hardware wallet. As far as the IBM thing, yeah, definitely get all sorts of Fed backdoors and that sort of thing. But yeah, as long as you're as man, that's total conspiracy. Don't know if that's true. Just joking, but yeah, super cool institutions in the space, building infrastructure and solutions. It's what's required for number to
What a
go up.
tinfoil moment that would be if it turns out that Ripple, Medico, it's all just a big government, you know, government front. and they've been just, you know,
Ripple. I don't know about Ripple, but I mean,
well,
if
Medico uses this, so you know.
I'm just saying, like, if a company like, you know, IBM, like, okay, if Lockheed Martin is making a hardware wallet, like, there's
That's
a Fed
true.
backdoor.
Yeah, there's
right?
a Fed
Like,
backdoor in that for sure.
Yeah, like, so where does IBM fall in that spectrum? I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, so.
All right. Well, we're almost to the end. I just want to say happy birthday. I share a birthday with Dogecoin. So good on you, Yellow Dog Coin. Enjoy your birthday, sir. And I guess they're having a space today at 6 p.m. Central with DJ Doge with some tunes and talking about, my God, they're even linking a tweet from 10 years ago on one of the founders of Dogecoin. But as a fun little thing, Dogecoin hit 10 cents. So,
oh man,
first time in a year
you don't
they've
always
actually
get
hit
what you
that.
want, but you know, sometimes you get what you need. So happy birthday, DogCoin. I've never understood you, but whatever.
Yellow coin, good for today.
I don't think I've ever owned Doge. I've never owned Doge. I should, right? Shouldn't I? I should have some.
I own 40 Doge because I mined it.
Okay.
I just happened to, that it was a miner that I had that I was testing while I was trying to get a new graphics card in, and it took like 10 days, but I earned 40 Doge, so I got $4 there. Is that right?
Yeah, I should probably own some Doge just because it's probably be the easiest thing for me to sell when it's
$1.60. I can't do math.
Reaches all-time high for sure. Like for, you know, all ETH, you know, GMX, like the bags that Coinbase, like the bags that I have that I view as like really strong productive assets that have a lot of potential. It's like I always struggle to take profits on those. Like which is probably going to really work out for me well in the long term, but like cycle to cycle, you know, it's hard for me to take profits. But Doge, I could if I had Doge that had 10x, like if I buy Doge at 10 cents, it goes to $1, I'm selling, no problem, dude. So maybe that's the big brain move. Maybe that's the right curve move.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got for you guys today. It's been a thrilling day. A lot to think about. If you listen from head to tail, we got a lot that we talked about today. Hopefully, found value in it. Feel free to join us on any of our communities.
Yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're here every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can join us at Beat the Banks every Friday. We've got a free training on Beat the Banks. We do live on Zoom, beatthebanks.circle.so.
I got the link on there.
Cool. Sweet. Yeah. Tell your friends.
Use the Beacon DeFi one.
Oh, okay. Beatthebanks.beacon.defi.
BTB.beacon.defi.xyz. Got a training this Friday that I'll be leading. Last week I showed you how to set up Rabby, and we looked at getting you your first coin, which was wrap staked ETH using DeFi Llama Swap. We're going to build on that this Friday. We'll go into some farms.
Sweet. So yeah, if you got any friends that are texting you about if they should get into crypto right now, say, hey, I've got just the place to get you on chain. Send them over to Beat the Banks by Beacon, and we'll get them right. So thanks for coming, everybody. Talk to you soon. 07.
Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy your Wednesday.